I don't know, guys. I have no way to explain it. I got nothing. These days are weird, and the news is even more strange. And with that, hi, how you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Chattin on the Porch, a fun little live stream we do in the evenings where we all kind of get together and talk about what's going on in the news. And people, I don't get it. Normally your friendly neighborhood host comes to you with news, and I try to be upbeat, and I'm going to be upbeat. You know, you guys know me. I'm always going to bring it to you, and I'm always going to tell you the truth. Some things are going on right now I have not an ounce of explanation for. I cannot figure this stuff out. But we'll try and get through it together. See if we can indeed make sense of all of it. We're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, and we're on YouTube, that quaint little alternative social media platform. So please, if you have not done so yet, give a thumbs up, share the link around, and subscribe to the channel. Do all those things that you do to make this going little concern a going big concern. And we'll keep on trucking on down the road. I'm sorry if my introduction tonight is not my normal, ebullient, upbeat, whatever. And I'm not down in the dumps. I am mystified, truly mystified at some of what I'm seeing and hearing and reading. Although you could make the argument I shouldn't be, but then again, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. Sometimes I'm known as the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I'm referred to as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, at this time, above all else, I am your host. We're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Thank y'all for being here tonight. And man, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am befuzzled, flummoxed. I'm not flatulent, thank God. That's the one F I'm not. I'm not the other F either. Never mind. I'm not going to go down the road on that one. But you guys get my general idea here, right? News is breaking about different things that are going on, and I'm just sitting here shaking my head going, okay, I got nothing. I don't know what to make of this, but we will take a look at it all and we'll see what's been going on. So anyhow, I'm glad you guys are here tonight. You guys are totally awesome as always. And this might be one of those nights you got to help me get through it. I don't know yet. We shall see. We shall see indeed. But anyway, glad to have you guys here tonight for Taco Tuesday. And I half jokingly said in the description to the live stream, hopefully we're going to keep everybody from eating too many tacos and swilling down too much tequila. I don't know, man. Some of the stuff we got to talk about tonight, it might make us all swill down tequila. So, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's start with the YouTube side of things and see what we got here. Miss Gypsy, need to buy me some popcorn. The world's going crazy. Honey, get some for all of us. That's all I'm saying. And with that, as always, mwah, love you, dear. Miss Patty's in the house. How you doing, darling? Mwah. Lovely, lovely Lana. Ooh, you lovely thing, you. Mwah. Let's see who else is here. Adam Worrell. Boom. The crazy Canadian has made his presence to the front porch. Let's see who else have we got in the house tonight. Zippy is here. We won. We are. Are you drinking? Or are the voices in my head plastered again? Buddy, we might all need to be drinking. Yeah. Let's see who else is here. Professor, if you want, I will throw you a link because I don't know what to think. I mean, if you don't want to, that's cool because I know I'm catching you, unprepared. But I mean, some of these cabinet picks that are being announced, I don't know about this. This is just straight crazy. And we're going to get into that subject. But again, Christian, you're under no obligation, brother, but I'm glad you're here. it is quite the evening. Quite the evening indeed. Let's see who's over on the Rumble side. TBA is here. Howdy, Fedora Nation, all the Fedoraites. Well, good evening, TBA. WWG1's in the house, says, I'm going to continue to be concerned. Amen, brother. Zippy also goes on to say on the Rumble side, as that cat maneuvers back and forth between platforms, the news reports are madness, as good as tequila. I hope tequila's better than the news reports. That's all I'm telling you right now, man. That's just straight crazy. So, all right. With that, I think we've accounted for everybody, and without doubt, others will saunter or sashay onto the porch as they arrive. We'll say hello to them when they do. And we're going to start with a couple of merry memes. And I don't know. I'm just going to start off with one. I just need for just good old fashioned, nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with current news, nothing to do with culture. This one I just sort of need for various reasons. So we'll start the merry memes section with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to put this right up here. And I do believe the caption on this one is correct. You can indeed tell how old someone is based off where it is you know this guy from. Now, undoubtedly, you know who it is. It is the legendary British actor Tim Curry. But I am curious as to one thing before we take a dive into some of what we're going to talk about. What was the first movie you ever saw him perform in? Okay. Now, that's not to say that his total acting repertoire or resume is made up of just film. He's been on stage as well, but I'd be curious to find out. Just drop it in chat if you feel like doing it. What is the very first movie you remember seeing Tim Curry in? WWG1 over on the Rumble side says The Butler in Clue. I'm with you there because that's the first time I ever saw him. Yeah, Rocky Horror. He was in Annie? I don't remember that one, but okay. All right. Interesting. He was the Lord of Darkness in Legend. He was in Annie. Okay. All right. I did not. I'm going to have to go back and watch Annie, I guess. I guess I'm going to have to. And for the record, Miss Tracy, mwah, hello, darling. Glad to see you in here tonight. Oh, goodness me. Good to have y'all here. He was Carol Burnett's brother, Roost. Oh. Okay. Now I think I'm vaguely remembering him. Okay. All right. Okay. Earth 2 TV series was good. I did not realize he was in that. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, what's the expression these days? You know if you know. So there you go. A little bit of Tim Curry action for you, which, like I say, has nothing to do with politics or culture or anything else. It's just a good palate cleanser, which, man, tonight we're all going to need one. My goodness, indeed. Okay. Now, much has been made since election night last week. Jeez, it's been 1 week. 1 week tells you how crazy things are right now. A lot has been made about the reactions of various ladies. They've gone so far as to take vows of abstinence. They've gone so far as to shave their heads. They're telling their men, if you voted for Trump and I find out about it, we're not having sex. On the other hand, considering how some of them look, I'm not so sure that's necessarily a bad deal for the men involved. But that said, a lot has been made. I mean, there are videos all over TikTok, Instagram, Twitter of women shaving their head. Okay. But that sort of begs the question. If you wanted to go further than shaving your head, what else have you got What can you possibly do? Well, someone seems to find a very, very creative way of how to get around that issue. I don't know about you guys, but this might actually work. I mean, there's no hair left to pull. You got to improvise, So WWG1 says, tell them to shave their armpits. Ew. Well, they should. Ew. Mommy. Yeah. And their legs. Okay, fellas. All right. Y'all just, okay. All right. Stop it. Oh, my word. Just straight crazy, y'all. Just straight crazy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, indeed. Hello, Dave. Fist bump to you, brother. Boom. Let's love the porch. Let's go, Trump. Great moves so far. Hopefully, the Rubio rumor is BS. We're going to get into that. That's the very first thing on the top of the list this evening. Now, as I said at the top of the live stream, hello, Midmo. Glad you're here. Fist bump to you, brother. Boom. As I said at the top of the live stream, I am literally sitting here shaking my head at this point. And all right, I'm going to start this discussion getting about as real as I can possibly get. Okay. I'd like to think in the now almost 2 years that I've had this channel up on social media, you guys, the members of Fedora Nation know me well enough to know I'm always going to play it straight with you. I will tell you what I think. For good or bad, I'll tell you what I think. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Okay? I will be diplomatic, I will be respectful, I'll be fiery, I'll be a number of things, but I ain't never going to lie to you. Okay? I am confused as all get out at this point, with one potential caveat ahead of me. Now, I say that, and that's going to take us to our first headline of the night. Now, this came out late yesterday evening. It is all over the media right now, and it is causing a firestorm, at least as much as I've been able to see. Okay, as much as I've been able to see in my ability to look at social media today, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about, and it's this. The headline, and the New York Times was the first one to break it. Trump expected to nominate Rubio for Secretary of State and picks Walz as National Security Advisor. Now, we looked at this headline the other night, okay? But I'm just using this as a jumping off point for some of the discussion that we're going to get into for the next little bit, okay? A lot of us backed Donald Trump in the 2024 election. We also did that with certain understandings going in. That Trump made horrible, and I mean horrible, personnel decisions in the first term. Okay? And part of that you could lay on to the fact he had no idea who he should or should not be dealing with in Washington, D.C. Okay? So you could probably forgive him for some of that. All right? That said, Donald Trump has the perspective of being 4 years removed from the end of his presidency, 4 years to be out in the wilderness, so to speak, and 4 years to think about it. He had no great love for John Bolton when John Bolton was the National Security Advisor, because John Bolton, by Donald Trump's own admission, wanted to blow up everything that moved. Okay? This guy, I mean, Bolton had an itch to, just bomb Iran back into the Stone Age. Okay? Donald Trump went so far as to tell Mike Pompeo and Nikki Haley, thanks, but no thanks, you're not coming back to the cabinet. And did so very publicly, and to borrow an old West Virginia expression, he put his boot up both their asses doing it. Okay. That said, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie about this at all. I do not. Now, let me also add one more caveat, and I'll explain what I'm getting at here in a minute. If this is true about Rubio, I got no explanation for this one. However, Tracy does offer the following. One reservation, the only one reservation I have about Rubio, but this allows to pick another senator that neighborhood said is much better this time around. I reserve opinions for now. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. I can respect that. Okay. And yeah, Dave, here's the big worry about Rubio. Okay. He's just as much a neocon as Pompeo, Haley, or some of the other Washington establishment. Okay. There is, however, one caveat when it comes to this news about Rubio. Although I could probably say the same, they're the same creature, except Rubio's not wearing high heels that we know of. The news about Rubio isn't coming directly from Trump. It's people saying Trump's done this. Ain't nobody heard it from Trump yet. Now, I know. I could be absolutely naive on that point. It may be that Donald Trump is typing up the press release or having his people type it up right now, and I don't realize it. I might wind up, eating crow on this one. And I will admit that possibility going in. Okay. But the one saving grace is that it ain't coming from Trump himself yet. There has been no official press release, nothing on Truth Social saying, yep, I'm picking Marco Rubio for my Secretary of State. And like I said, I could wind up being wrong, but that might be the only thing at this point. New York Times is reporting it. Everybody took off from the New York Times and ran with it. But Trump ain't said it. And again, I'm not trying to be naive. His people might be getting ready to do it. But it hasn't happened yet. That said, another piece of news that dropped in the past little bit has to do with this. And this one I am trying to get my arms wrapped around. Let me find it here real fast. CNN is reporting that Trump has picked Kristi Noem to serve as Homeland Security Secretary. Oh, now wait a minute. Sorry if I'm pausing, folks. I just saw something come across on Rumble from TBA. And by the way, Chris, I just saw you walk onto the porch, brother. How you doing? Fist bump to you. Okay. Yeah. Well, and again, CNN's reporting it. Trump's not saying it. And again, I'm taking all this with the biggest grain of salt. Hang on one second, guys. I gotta look for something here real fast because this is now getting to me here. This thing on. Okay. It looks official. All right. Hang on a minute. Guys, well, I said that this is the news right now is absolutely crazy. Let me bring this up full screen, let you guys take a look at it, and I'll try to enlarge it for everybody's benefit. Here we go. Statement from Donald J. Trump. I am pleased to announce that the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency. Together, these two wonderful Americans will pave the way for my administration to dismantle government bureaucracy / excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies, essential to the Save America movement. This will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people, said Mr. Musk. It will become potentially the Manhattan Project of our time. To drive this kind of drastic change, the Department of Government Efficiency will provide advice and guidance from outside of government and will partner with the White House and Office of OMB, Office of Management and Budget, drive large-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government as never seen before. Okay. So that was compliments of TBA. All right. Thank you, sir. I will admit this. Trump is moving like when Trump makes an announcement. So, guys, I'm coming to this with Robert, boom, Department of Sledgehammer, fist bump to you. I'm looking at this going, holy cow. And hello, Jessica. Mwah. And another lovely young lady strolled in here. I got to say hello to her. Good evening, Miss Courtney. Mwah. Lovely, lovely, both of you. Glad to have y'all here. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Okay, see, I am... The news is absolutely straight crazy. Just straight crazy. Really. Just crazy. Well, now see, that's just it. I mean, and I get it. CNN's reporting it. CNN's reporting it, but Trump's not the one actually saying it. So I don't quite know what to make of some of these appointments. Now, for sure, we just got the news about Elon Musk and Vivek, which, okay, I'm down with. That's great. We also got some more confirmable news today. And I'll pop this one up here for the benefit of people who haven't seen it yet. Mike Huckabee has been named as the ambassador to Israel. Interesting choice. So you got that going on. You also have, and this one just broke a little while ago. This one shocks me. Talk about getting outside the box. This one's getting outside the box. If you guys haven't seen this one yet, this is not a joke. I'm going to read it to you. I am honored to announce that I have nominated Pete Hegseth to serve in my cabinet as the Secretary of Defense. Pete spent his life as a warrior for the troops and for the country. He is tough, smart, and a true believer in America first. With Pete at the helm, America's enemies are on notice. Our military will be great again, and America will never back down. He is a graduate of Princeton University, has a graduate degree from Harvard. He is an Army combat veteran who did tours at Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, and Afghanistan. For his actions on the battlefield, he was decorated 2 Bronze Stars as well as Combat Infantryman's Badge. Pete has been a host at Fox News for 8 years, where he's used that platform to fight for our military and our veterans. Pete's recent book, The War on Warriors, spent 9 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, including 2 weeks at number 1. The book reveals the left-wing betrayal of our warriors and how we must return our military to meritocracy, lethality, accountability, and excellence. Pete has also led 2 veterans advocacy organizations, leading the fight for our warriors and our great veterans. Nobody fights harder for the troops, and Pete will be a courageous and patriotic champion of our peace through strength policy. Yeah, I mean, holy cow. Talk about somebody outside the Pentagon structure, outside the military-industrial complex to some degree, etc. Now, on the other hand, and I will read this directly because I don't want to misquote him. Pete Hegseth called for, and this comes from the professor, Christian Watson. Pete Hegseth called for Iran to be bombed after Trump killed Soleimani, believing that action did not go far enough. He is a war hawk and is not conducive to an America first foreign policy outlook. And again, I'm not trying to stir a fight with Christian. he is correct in what he states. So I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what to make of some of this stuff. I really don't. Adam asked the question, Patel, a CIA director. Well, brother, I've even got news on that one for you. CIA has been claimed. Give me 1 second here and I will pull it up. Director of CIA has already been filled, or more to the point, it's about to be. Check this out. Again, press release from Trump Vance transition team. I am pleased to announce that former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe will serve as Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. From exposing fake Russian collusion to be a Clinton campaign operation to catching the FBI's abuse of civil liberties of the FISA court, John Ratcliffe has been a warrior for truth and honesty with the American public. When 51 intelligence officials were lying about Hunter Biden's laptop, there was one, John Ratcliffe, telling the truth to the American people. Okay, that is interesting. Now, on the other hand, you got some people saying about Mr. Ratcliffe the following. Let me put this up here. This is from Michael Tracy, who is by his own admission and I've heard of him before. I've seen his stuff, but John Ratcliffe, according to Mike Tracy, and again, take this for what it's worth, joined Mike Pompeo in lobbying for the renewal of the FISA warrantless survey over the past year. Ratcliffe participated in classified briefings that helped convince Speaker Mike Johnson to reverse his positions and back FISA. And here's a letter from December of 2023, signed in part by John Ratcliffe, urging Speaker Johnson to back renewal of Section 702 of the FISA Act. So, again, take all this with grains of salt. I mean, there's good and bad here, but I am not going to lie. These are some, at this point, extraordinary picks. Oh, and Tracy says, Noam confirmed on X with a press release. Okay, give me a second, guys. Let's see what we got here. Yep, here we go. Check it out. It is now official. I am pleased to announce that Governor and former Congresswoman from South Dakota, Kristi Noem, will be appointed to serve as Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. Kristi's been very strong on border security. She was the first governor to send National Guard troops to help Texas fight the Biden border czar, and they are sent a total of 8 times. She will work closely with border czar Tom Homan to secure the border and will guarantee that our American homeland is secure from our adversaries. I've known Kristi for years, and I have worked with her on a wide variety of projects. She will be a great part of our mission to make America safe again. And Noem, for her part, issued the following statement. I am honored and humbled that President Donald J. Trump has selected me to be the Secretary of Homeland Security. I look forward to working with border czar Tom Homan to make America safe again. With Donald Trump, we will secure the border and restore safety to American communities so that families, again, will have the opportunity to pursue the American dream. And first of all, the speed with which these choices are coming out are just absolutely amazing. And I mean, definitely Trump is on the move. Now, I think this is a fair point too. Let me put this up here. If you've been in politics or public service for any length of time, you have danced with the devil. What counts is what they do now. Opinions evolve. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, it's just Trump's not messing around. Well, Trump and his people. Well, we won't have to worry about any foreign dogs crossing the border. I'll tell you that much, folks. I think Miss Courtney's on to a good point here. And with that, cheers, my dear. P2P, welcome. Yeah, I mean, and welcome in on Twitter, by the way. Glad to have you here. Like seeing that little X symbol up beside somebody's name. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad when people are popping in on Rumble, popping in on YouTube. But I'm loving it when I see people come over from Twitter and leaving comments. So you ain't getting any argument from me, brother. Yeah, they ain't a bad looking woman in this room, my friend. Ain't a bad looking lady in this room. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, again, and I guess I'm talking right now for my own therapy. So forgive me in advance. I apologize, guys. And I guess, let's all be therapeutic for each other here. Okay. Do I expect the cabinet to be my idea of perfect? No, not necessarily. Number one, it's not my cabinet. Okay. It's Donald Trump's. Am I going to like every pick that Donald Trump makes? Heck no. Okay. Okay. I will pause my soliloquy just a moment. Okay. All right. I'll pop this up here. Give me 1 second, folks. The professor just sent me something. And hang on just a minute, folks. Okay. I had mentioned a moment ago that some, and I will not mention names, had certain reservations about Pete Hegseth being picked. Fair enough. Well, as an example to back that up, check this out. And as always, let me know if the sound is coming through okay. As a matter of fact, before I turn this loose, one moment. Make sure all my boxes are checked. Okay. All right, let's try it now. Let me know in chat if you're getting an echo off of this. But that said, here we go.
Russia's war in Ukraine is unraveling at a rapid pace. Cruise missiles and columns of tanks, threats of nuclear war, and dire consequences. One question hangs over everything. What is Russian President Vladimir Putin capable of? And how far is he willing to go? This is the worst case scenario. The consequences of this war are still unfolding, and the future of not just Ukraine, but America and the Western world is in jeopardy. The actions taken today in Ukraine, in the halls of Europe, and in the White House will impact the cause of freedom for generations to come. We pray for peace, but plan for war. History shows us that peace only comes through strength that is meant to deter war. But war has broken out, which is why we must consider the worst case scenario.
Okay. WWG1 says fear-mongering, LOL. All right. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Some of these picks are leaving people just kind of shaking their heads going, I thought we were trying to get away from some of this stuff. Now, to go to, I think it's Tracy's point. No, it wasn't Tracy. Hang on. Let me find who it was. It may have been, no, it was Lana. Hang on a minute. Let me find her post real quick. Because this is an absolutely fair point to consider. Give me 1 second here. Die, 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 die. Lie, die, 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 die. Hang on, y'all. Well, okay. She had made the point. Look, so long as Trump has got these people under heel, okay. So long as he's got them on a tight leash and they're doing what he wants, okay, cool. And got somebody on the Rumble side who just dropped in with a very interesting screen name, MAGA Laga Ding Dong. Okay, MAGA Laga Ding Dong. Fist bump to you, and welcome to the Electronic Front Porch, my friend. That is a very interesting name. welcome. Hope you're here for a while. Glad to have you, and enjoy. So, the picks are getting made fast and furious, and some of them are very unconventional. I never had Pete Hegseth on my bingo card for Secretary of Defense. I'm not going to lie about that one. That one is straight out of left field. It's just wow. I mean, all right, let's go. All right, let's go through the list so far. Chief of Staff's been picked. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, that's Steve Miller. You've now got Secretary of Defense and Pete Hegseth. Secretary of Department of Homeland Security is Kristi Noem. You've got Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee. I mean, you got a slew of them so far. CIA Director has been picked. State is hanging out there. No, Gypsy. I'm not saying anybody. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these are sitting here making me scratch my head, going, Trump, did you learn anything in the 4 years you were in office and the 4 years you were out of it? I mean, this is what I'm saying. I'm sitting here going, look, I knew this was the risk of putting Trump back in the White House. He's going to make bad personnel decisions again. But really? I mean, I thought that, certain people were going to be there in the transition to make sure that, we're making good choices, and again, might wind up that, this thing works out. But some of these are leaving me just scratching my head. I'm sitting here going, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys about this. I mean, again, do I expect Donald Trump to be perfect in everything he does? Of course not. Absolutely, of course not. Yeah, well, then he needs somebody. Midmo, he chose Daniel Ratcliffe. And hello, Corey. Boom, fist bump to you. How you doing? TBA says, Brian, we have to stop overreacting. Rather sit back, reflect, and think about Trump's overall strategy. Okay, that's a fair point. That's a completely fair point. And yes, Zippy, it is politics and it does suck. I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm really not going to lie about this. I am just flabbergasted at this point. I don't know whether to be mad, glad, sad, or anything in between. I'm not sure yet. So and I will accept that appointment. I will gladly accept that appointment. I will gladly accept the appointment. It's true. Strategy is important. People don't understand the full scope all the time. You can be Jessica. Nope. I'm not reading that second comment right under it. No, I'm not doing that because I don't know who you're talking to, but that's just funny as all get out. We'll just leave it right there, darling. Love you, Jessica. You're awesome. Yeah, I don't, like I say, I'm just sitting here going, okay, let's just see where all this goes. Let's just see where all this goes. We shall see. Magalaga Ding Dong on Rumble says, then again, I would guess the Dream Team members have at least some input, wouldn't you think? Honestly, I don't know, but I think so. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of conversation about these picks, a lot. So, let's see, what else have we got in the way of updated cabinet news? Let me see if there's anything else that I've heard. Kristi Noem is now official. And now you've got Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk working together in the Department of Government Efficiency, which that gets to something else too. This Department of Government Efficiency, well, it's not technically speaking an actual department. Does it have to go through Congress? Are they more like an advisory council? What is this exactly? I have no doubt whatsoever that they're going to make all kinds of recommendations. How far they get with it's entirely another question. I think one of the biggest and probably most important picks that he makes, and people won't think about it, is the Department of OMB, Management and Budget. Very important position. Highly underrated, by the way. Highly underrated, but very powerful. Has a lot to do with making up the federal budget. So we shall see. We shall indeed see. I don't know yet. I am not going to lie about it. I'm scratching my head and I'm sitting here going, man, I really pray he learns something. But man, some of these picks I'm sitting here going, okay, unconventional, especially on the Pete Hegseth thing. Also he's picked National Security Director, and I'm sitting there going, that guy's got an itch to go after Iran. So it's like, no, yeah, I have no problem with this whatsoever. None whatsoever. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We will keep an eye on it, but man, I'm not going to lie up front. It's just something to behold. Dave says, we'll clear the swamp while Trump keeps the peace, close the borders, and deport a ton of illegals. Possibly happen. All right, I tell you what, since it's about quarter after the hour, let me do a real quick commercial, and I want to move on to another topic, which is really, really interesting to me right now. And I hope so for you too. If you've happened on this live stream, and I tell you what, we got quite a few people watching so far tonight. We got new folks who come along like Magalaga Ding Dong. We've got, old friends of the Electronic Front Porch. We've got people strolling and sashaying in. Yes, the men are strolling and the ladies are sashaying, and cheers all around. My name is Brian Trippett, and I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am the host of this little thing we do through the week. We call it Chattin on the Porch. We get together, we talk about the news, we tell everybody what we think. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, So it is all the way around. Yeah, and some people come in, like a Miley Cyrus song. For example, Jessica. Anyway, we get together on Rumble, on YouTube, on Twitter. We talk about the news, and we scratch our heads. We, knock on wood. In my case, we try and figure out what's going on. We tell each other what we think, sometimes with vocal passion. And in the meanwhile, we love each other doing it. And we try and have fun and get through this crazy thing we call life. So if this is your cup of tea or your brand of whiskey or your flavor of moonshine, whatever you want to call it, go ahead and give me a subscription on Rumble and YouTube. I'd genuinely appreciate it. Also, if you wouldn't mind, leave a thumbs up on both sides. Leave a comment in chat. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I truly, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I have got the best audience on social media. I really do believe that. We may not be the biggest group of people around, but man, I'll take you guys hands down and, charge headlong into the bayonets and whatever else. So there you go. Now here's an interesting question. Can we not choose our leaders based on hotness? Are you asking, should we do that? Or are you asking, should we not do that? Can we not choose leaders based on hotness? Oh, okay. All right. I see where you're going with it. Look, If they're smart and they're hot, I have no problem with that. Okay, I'm down with that. Look, I want Lauren Boebert to be in charge of the ATF. I mean, seriously. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to lose a seat in Congress, but daggone. Yeah, put her in charge. ATF. I got no problem with that. Anyway, true that. Amen, Miss Courtney. Fair question. Fair, yeah. Like I say, some of these are sitting here and make me shake my head. Truly. Truly. All right. There is a piece of news that broke today, and it coincides with something else at another network. Okay. Have you guys heard about what's going on over at CNN? Check this out. This is from the Post Millennial. Breaking. CNN to lay off hundreds of staff, on-air personalities, says report. Quote, redundant assignments will be nixed and various divisions will be reduced or even eliminated. Article written by Hannah Nightingale, we have the following. CNN is set to kick off a round of post-election layoffs that will affect hundreds of employees in the company, including on-air personalities. Sources told Puck News that the layoffs will take place in the next few months and will include those whose TV production talents won't necessarily be needed in the new digital-first landscape, wrote Puck founding partner Dylan Byers. Reporters and correspondents would be asked to take on responsibilities handled by production teams, redundant assignments will be nixed, and various divisions will be reduced or even eliminated. The outlet said that some on-air talent is likely to be affected by the layoffs. Going a little bit further into the article, we have the following. While layoffs are occurring, CNN reportedly plans to create new positions. The layoff and hiring process could result in a net gain in employees to accommodate CEO Mark Thompson's stress on digital-first business model. This comes as Chris Wallace is set to leave the outlet at the end of the year, choosing to decline a new contract that was less than the 3-year one signed under former CNN head Jeff Zucker. Viewership at the outlet has declined 40% year over year between Thursday and 1 year prior, and in prime time, viewership declined 54%. On election night, the outlet received 5.1 million average viewers, down from 10 million in 2020. Ooh, that's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. They got half of the viewership on election night that they got 4 years ago? Oh my God. That is just absolutely brutal. Jeez. Now, lest you think that what's going on is confined just to CNN, got something else here for you. And let me see if I can find an article about this. Give me 1 second here. It was announced today that MSNBC is up, or soon to be up, for sale. Now, again, I don't have a news story to go with this, but this has been bouncing around social media all day long. And here it is. I'll pop this up on screen just for your guys' review. Comcast reportedly set to sell off left-wing network MSNBC. Now, I want to get into this. And I want your guys' thoughts on this, because I won't say that I'm vindicated. I mean, heck, anybody could have seen this coming. Look, CNN and most certainly MSNBC are the repository of liberal talking points on cable news. Or actually, you could make an argument among all five of the legacy networks. Okay. I mean, if you want to know what people on the political left or progressives are thinking, you go to CNN. But if you don't want to go there and you want to get a straight, the straight mother's milk, you go to MSNBC. Okay. Because there ain't no conservative on that network. All right. Let's just be honest about it. They have been declining viewership, both networks, CNN and MSNBC, for years now. I mean, honestly, I did not realize the statistics about CNN until I read that that line from that post-millennial article. They were down 50% of their viewership from election night 2020 to election night 2024. That is astounding to me. And they've declined 40% year over year. There is no way that is sustainable. Yeah, that's a good way, Corey. That's a good way of putting it, brother. They are on life support. Okay, they are. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily confined to Rogan and just Carlson. I think it's a lot of different factors. Okay, I mean, if you're going to accord them the title of journalistic institution, a lot of their credibility has been shot over the years. I mean, for example, they went after Trump on the Russia hoax. They one-sidedly covered Trump for 4 years. They one-sidedly covered Trump after he left office. Which, I mean, they're right to do. I mean, it's their network. They can do whatever they want. But you give people a steady diet of that, and then when the opposite happens of what you've been telling them, that kind of goes to undercut your whole argument about, you being a credible news source. You tell people that certain people are peddling misinformation. It turns out the misinformation they're peddling turns out to be true. What does that really say about you? I mean, it's like I've said, an athlete doesn't necessarily go down because of one great big injury. Usually a great athlete goes down with an accumulation of aggravation, nagging little things over the course of time that when you take them all together, it's just like they're done. Yeah. Yeah. In the case of MSNBC, I'd argue they are pure propagandists. But it's now reached the point where, propaganda meets the balance sheet, and these two things are not working out together. Okay? Propaganda ain't cutting the butter. Okay? It's not slicing the bread, it's not cutting the butter, it's not, whatever analogy you want to use. Okay? Someone posted on Twitter today, and I forget who it was, but it was actually kind of funny. They left it as, well, Elon has a golden opportunity in front of him. Just kind of left it hanging out there like, wow, I wonder what would happen if Elon Musk bought MSNBC. And I thought, oh man, you talk about heads exploding. Oh, very true. Disney's suffering the very same thing. Very, very same thing. Oh, now, Tracy, that's just not even nice. Lean over to Rachel and Joy and whisper, to the camps after you get me coffee. Jeez. Whew. And people say I'm bad. But I mean, look, getting slightly serious here for a second, okay? What's happening right now, so that's why you're wanting to run them off. Okay. Well, I'm tuning in for this. I am definitely tuning in for this. That would be worth the price, truly. But what's happening right now, if these reports are true, Okay. If these reports are true that Comcast wants to sell MSNBC and Discovery or whatever conglomeration now runs CNN, if it's true they're wanting to sell it off and not sell it off, cut the payroll, get rid of some of these on-air talent, etc. This was inevitable. Lay aside their ideological bent. Okay, lay aside that these are two of the most liberal news coverage networks in the whole of media. Okay, I could make an argument, and I think you may or may not agree with me, which is perfectly fine. What is happening here was inevitable in that the model on which they're built is dying. I mean, look, one of Elon Musk's favorite phrases right now is "You are the media." Okay, and truly, we are. I mean, look, on right now in chat on both sides, I'm looking at the names of social media content creators who have channels on Rumble, on YouTube, maybe on both. Maybe they host a space on Twitter, or they might be on Odyssey or BitChute or whatever. Okay. Magalaga ding dong. I apologize. I got to run. I will get caught up in a few minutes. Cheers and rest well. Well, thank you, Magalaga. We're glad to have you here with us. I'm looking at content creators on both sides. I mean, there's My Morning Mayhem, there's Forced Mommy, there's Courtney, there's Tracy with Gen X Marks the Spot, etc. Okay. You guys are the media. All right. I am the media, although sometimes I have a hard time believing it. But we are the new media. I go back, I hearken back to a conversation that I had with another just amazing content creator, Culture Casino. And the remark that he made to me is, we are an existential threat to mainstream Hollywood and the news media in New York City and Washington, D.C. And his reasoning was very simple. He said, look, we can go to Best Buy, purchase some computer monitors and a camera, and we can buy some lights and, certain kinds of equipment. We can get roadcasters and everything else and all this stuff, and we can sit down in the privacy of our own homes and create a product at a fraction of the cost of the folks in Hollywood or New York City or Washington, D.C. And we can put it out and we can draw an audience unto ourselves that rivals what is being produced right now out of Hollywood and the journalistic community up and down the East Coast. And even though, I am a very small content creator and I freely acknowledge that, that's fine. But I also think of folks like, Tim Pool or Benny Johnson or Steven Crowder or Alex Jones, or, the daily, good point, the Daily Wire, the Young Turks, etc. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the right. It could be on the left. The Young Turks is a very successful organization. May not agree with everything Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian and all those cats over there say, but yeah, they're producing a product. They're drawing an audience. Okay? Going forward, and I'm not saying this to boast either. I'm not saying it with, hopefully I'm not saying this with haughty arrogance. It's just the reality of the situation. We are the media. Okay? When Viva Fry can take an iPhone and walk in downtown Toronto and do man on the street coverage of the trucker convoy rallies that were going on a couple 3 years ago and give you in the moment up to date reporting of what's happening, one man by himself with one of these little things, okay? And Viva's another great example. Okay? Viva Fry. I mean, go down the list of names. Eric Hunley, Mark Robert. I was listening to them tonight as I was, grabbing a little bite to eat before putting my live stream together. Okay. And I could go on and on with a list of names. And I mean, you guys know them too. You guys could sit here and just, pop out names of people I hadn't even thought about. But if CNN and MSNBC, if CNN is on the verge of having their budgets severely slashed and on-air talent being reassigned or maybe even, buyouts, or if MSNBC is on the verge of getting sold, is anybody really surprised? I mean, yeah. I mean, look, if I were a vindictive person, sometimes, maybe. All right. Yeah, sometimes I can be. If I were just that vindictive about it, I would dance on the grave of MSNBC. Okay? I would. I'd be like, well, you SOBs got what you deserved. I'm glad to see you're 6 feet under. Proverbially speaking, of course. I'm not. Do I want to see people lose their jobs? No, not necessarily. But on the other hand, in the free market of idea, I mean, Rush Limbaugh always made the statement. He said, my job is to draw the biggest audience I possibly can and hold it. And he did for 30 years. That was his job. Okay. And he did it with a brilliant mixture of entertainment, information, made it fun, and grew his audience year after year after year. And yeah, Rush Limbaugh was a conservative, but Rush Limbaugh was also one thing too. He was a businessman. Okay. The folks at MSNBC and CNN, their on-air talent are ideologues. And in one sense, they don't have to necessarily worry about being businessmen. But the people inside that structure, they are businessmen, and they're looking at it going, this is unsustainable. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why what is about to happen at CNN and MSNBC are about to happen. But it was kind of inevitable. And yeah, this is a great point too. Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast of anybody in America or arguably the world. He's got a staff of 2 people. 2. Yeah, he's got a studio. And it's got lots of fancy equipment, lots of everything else. But he's got 2 people, himself, some cameras, some microphones, and a cup of coffee and a conversation. That's Joe Rogan. Yeah, and that's a great point too. It's a really great point. Hello, small time. How you doing, brother? Thomas Friedman wrote a book called The Earth is Flat in regard to technology. He had no idea how right he was. Yeah, people could see this coming. People have seen this coming for years. And now it's about to happen. Now, what does it mean in the long run? Well, I don't think it stops with CNN. I don't think it stops with MSNBC. I really don't. Okay? I really don't think it does. I think that it's going to come to ABC. Well, in fact, it's already coming to ABC. They've been going through budget cuts now for some time. Went through a big round of it last year. Okay. ABC's already going through it. CBS is going to go through it at some point. The main flagship at NBC is going to go through it at some point. Bezos is trying to reform the Washington Post. And you know what he's got to do to reform the Washington Post? Just look at them and go, yeah, I don't think we're going to endorse a presidential candidate this year. You see where I'm going with this? It's coming. It is coming. It's happening. Now it's happening. WWG1 says, the Young Turks don't have as big an audience as you think. Most of them are bots. Okay, fair enough. Again, WWG1, Russia's Ditto Cam was one of the first uses of webcam for a major broadcast. That is true. That is very true. And finally, he says, if Comcast is selling off their assets, that tells me they're struggling as well. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, brother. I really don't. I really don't. Now, if this happens, in one sense, I'm going to be sad. I'm not going to lie. I really will. Don't get me wrong. The Washington Post over the years has been one of the biggest pains in the rear end for conservatives in general. But if it comes to the point that a great newspaper like the Post winds up being a free newsletter, that's going to break my heart. It really will. My Morning Mayhem over on Rumble says, I mean, y'all see the crowd and the panel on this channel on election night? Why tune in anywhere else? Well, thank you very much for that, sir. And you were a big part of that, for which I am eternally grateful. You and Tracy and so many others. And I'm tucking away ideas for the next time I do something like that 4 years from now, God willing, if I'm still here. But yeah, having now done it once myself, I'm like, okay, I know some things I want to do in future. So yeah. Yeah, we had a fabulous crowd that night. And they were all over the internet, by the way. Little platoons, if I may use that term. Little platoons of people sitting around in front of cameras like the one I'm looking into right now. Or like the one Tracy looks into, or Chris, or Jessica, or Courtney, or any of us for that matter. You know, doing what we do. You know, traveling up the mountain, so to speak. I saw that story about CNN and MSNBC, and I went, man, it's finally here. It's finally caught up with them. It truly is. The institutions, as we've known them, are not going to be sustainable much longer. Now, what does much longer mean? Does it happen next year, the year after, 5 years from now? I don't know. All I know is change is coming. That's all I can tell you. What is it going to look like? I have no idea yet. I really don't. Couldn't tell you. I just think it's here. And now the old guard, if I may use that term, they don't know what to do with it. They really don't. They have no idea how to explain Joe Rogan. They have no idea how to explain Lex Freeman. They have no idea how to explain the Duran or the Gaggle or Viva and Barnes or any of these folks. Eric Hunley, Allison Morrow, the Law Tubers. I mean, name the genre in social media that you want to talk about. They have no idea how to explain it. When the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was going on, and you had guys like, Nick Rekieta and Nate the Lawyer and all these law tubers getting more views on coverage of the Rittenhouse trial than, major cable networks that cover the thing, that ought to tell you we have reached a threshold. It was extraordinary. It was an actually extraordinary moment. Donald Trump goes on Joe Rogan and gets 45 million views across God knows how many different platforms. It will change the way presidential politics is covered for years to come. And what's going to happen is you're going to have candidates realize, I don't need to go on 60 Minutes. The hell with them. I don't need to go on Meet the Press. I don't need to go on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. I can sit down with this person and talk to them for 2 hours, and then I don't have to worry about them editing my comments. I mean, that was one of the... Who was it that Rogan was talking to? It's Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn was on Rogan's podcast recently. And he was talking about, the fact that, Kamala's people said, well, you've got to fly out here and we'll give you 1 hour. But the big thing that got to Rogan was, and they asked him, you're going to edit this, right? And he went, no, there will be no editing. There will be no editing. Now, I saw 2 comments on the YouTube side, and I want to address these. I saw this about Chris Wallace. Okay. And I want to talk about this for a second. And thank you, Small Time, for putting this in here. Oh yeah, I saw this too. We'll talk about that here in a second too. Yeah, because that's definitely worth a comment or two. You know what? If Chris Wallace wants to go out and start a podcast, I say more power to him. I'm serious. I'm genuinely serious about this. Let him do it. I can't speak for anybody else, but I am a free marketeer as much as possible in all things, even in the space of social media. If Chris Wallace wants to go out and start a podcast and he can make it successful, you know what? Hat tip. More power to you, brother. Come on in, jump on in. The water's warm. Okay? If you can make a go of it and make it work, more power to you. Tucker has done it. Megan Kelly, 2 other people I forgot about, Tucker and Megan Kelly. They've made the thing work. Dan Bongino. I mean, again, it's glorious in one sense. But if Chris Wallace wants to go out and start a podcast, hey, have at it, brother. If you can make it successful and people want to watch it, cool. Because I will give Chris Wallace this. Okay, I may not agree with everything he believes or says or does, but I'll give him this. Chris Wallace can do a really good interview when he wants to. He really can. And I say, fine, go for it. Go for it. Now Tracy, you may be absolutely right, darling. He may need a hell of a producer. Yeah. He's got talent. And this, So AOC, matter of fact, can I find the clip? And by the way, thank you, Gypsy, because I'm glad you reminded me of this. I really am. Give me a second here, folks, because I got to find this. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, everyone's favorite congresswoman from the Bronx. Where is this clip? Got to find this. Went out, I guess it was on, okay, you guys help me out here. Where does she post her stuff on Telegram or TikTok? Because every so often she'll look like she's on a live stream. I'm just not sure of where she's at. I've seen this, but I'm just never quite sure where she's at when she's doing this. Anyway, AOC is wanting to. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, it's on TikTok. Okay. Is this the clip I'm looking for? Oh, where is it? Can't find it. Oh, okay. Is it Instagram? Okay, thank you, Courtney. But anyway, AOC I was asking the question, and I'll put this back up here for the basis of conversation. She wants to know what MAGA watches. I'm going to say something that's going to sound spiteful, and it's not intended to be that way. Oh, she's out on Tic-Tac-Hoe? Oh, well, okay. Robert, I will not doubt you on this, my friend, as you are an expert. You're not an expert on hoes, but you're an expert in most things. I will trust your I will trust your judgment. I did not say you're an expert on hoes, just so before I get myself in trouble here. I'm going to say something that's going to sound slightly spiteful. I don't want to answer her question. And there's a reason for that. It's not for the purpose. It is not at all for the purpose of being mean or trying to deprive her of information or anything else. I want her to come to this stuff organically. And I also am curious. I'm also curious to want to know, why does she want to know what I watch? Now I'm going to be slightly conspiratorial. Why does she want to know what I watch, or what you watch, or what anybody on the MAGA side of the fence watches? What is that to her? Is she trying to understand where we come from or why we think the way we do? Or is she trying to write down an enemies list? And again, I know that sounds conspiratorial, but let's consider which side of the fence which team she's playing for here. Is it really beyond the realm of possibility? WWG1 says, so she can go after them and shut them down. And you see, that was the first thought that went through my head when I heard it this afternoon. Chris from My Morning Mayhem says she needs some targets. Guys, you may be right. You may be absolutely right. And that's my worry with this. It struck me as an odd question coming from her. Now, like I said, if she's genuinely coming to it with, if she's coming to it trying to understand why people think the way they do, that's one thing. I could give her that. Oh, you did? Oh, tag me on Twitter. Tag me on Twitter with it, because I want to put this up for discussion. I really do. I want to put this up for discussion. I want people to see this, because I know I'm sitting here going on about it, but I'd really like to show this to people. My Morning Mayhem says, however, I'm sure that Sean would welcome her on his show with open arms. By the way, are we all in agreement that she's pregnant? I have no idea what's going on with AOC. Could not even begin to tell you. But yeah, Courtney, tag me on Twitter with that thing. If you would not mind, I'd like to see it. I'd like to show it to everybody. Let me do it another way. Podcasts. Okay, here it is. I think I just found it. Let me message you after the show, brother. Let me message you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep, here it is. This is what I'm looking for right here. Okay, hang on a second, folks. I know I've been sitting here yammering about this, but this is definitely worth. Like I said, if she's trying to genuinely understand why it is folks like me and you feel the way we do, okay, I'm down with that. If, on the other hand, all this is about is just her getting a target to go after, I'm sorry, that's a whole different ball game. Daggone it. Come on. Here we go. Okay, the clip is not very long. Runs about like 14 seconds, but I'll put this up here. You guys tell me what you think. Daggone it. I'm having a technology challenge night. Okay. Here we go. All right, let me pop this up on screen. Thank you. And to Gypsy too. All right. With that, tell me what you guys think.
Which podcasts are you listening to? Which accounts are you subscribing to? I'm interested, like genuinely. Let me know which ones specifically, which accounts, which podcasts, etc.
But again, why? I mean, and look, I would need to go back and listen to the whole thing. I really would. I'm curious as to why. We'll see. We will see. There was one more post that I saw I wanted to comment on. This would thrill my heart. And by the way, folks, this could happen. Let me pop that back up there again. It could. I've said all along, going forward, the presidential candidates need to tell the networks, shove it. We don't want you anymore. And it'd be real easy to do. The technology is there. Matter of fact, I've still got the column in my head. I ought to write the thing up and submit it to somebody. But going forward, the presidential candidates need to say to YouTube and Twitter and YouTube and Rumble, hey, one or both of you host the presidential debate. Republicans pick a moderator, Democrats pick a moderator, the host platform picks a moderator, and we go for 2 hours. And, you might have to negotiate some side rules past that, and that's it. Just cut the networks out altogether. Just cut them out. One of the great frustrations that people had with Donald Trump during the campaign, and this was a complaint by many people, was you have all the power here. Why are you letting the networks dictate the terms? They need you more than you need them. Oh, Lord. Really? Oh, okay. All right. If time allowed it, I'd take a perusal just to see who's telling her this. God, I tell you, one person I'd love to see her get into a conversation with, Scott Adams. I'd love to see her and Scott Adams have a conversation. That would be fascinating. And no, I'm not trying to, piss off Scott Adams, and I'm not trying to deliberately make her mad, but I'd be very curious to watch that. Yeah, you got to figure that's true too. No, she ain't thinking of defecting, Adam. Not in the slightest. WWG1 says, going back to my debate idea, AI could moderate. That's possible. That's possible too. Chris from My Morning Mayhem says, I actually think Jon Stewart, at least old school Jon Stewart, would also be another good moderator. Yeah, if Jon Stewart kept his instincts in check, I wouldn't have a problem with Jon Stewart. I really wouldn't. I'll tell you another one. Jimmy Dore would be a great one. Jimmy Dore would be fantastic. I mean, I could, and you guys could too. All of us could sit here and think of about probably a pool of about 10, maybe 15 really good people who ought to be picked from to moderate a presidential debate. Anna Kasparian. I think Anna Kasparian would be fascinating. Cenk Uygur. I'll throw him in the mix. There's a bunch of people on the left, the right, down the middle. Yeah. The networks are not necessary. Okay. On a good day, I'll throw in Dennis Miller. If we're going to do that, I'll give you one more. Greg Gutfeld. Now, everybody's going to say, oh, he's a Fox News guy. I don't care. Gutfeld could actually ask some good questions and actually get a laugh out of you doing it. Well, maybe not out of the politician, but he could get a laugh out of the audience doing it. The networks are not necessary anymore. They're not doing a service to the viewers. That whole ABC debacle, okay? I'm with you, dear. I love Gutfeld. Gutfeld's hysterical. That whole debacle on ABC in the presidential debate was totally unnecessary. Why was that unnecessary? Because ABC never should have been hosting the debate. Same thing for CBS in the vice presidential debate or CNN for the first debate between Biden and Trump. Totally unnecessary. We don't need them anymore. And why stop with the look? Why? I'm not going to limit that to the presidential debates. We don't need them for much of anything. Truly, when we can go online and find our own news, okay? No, Professor, I'm down with you, brother. I'm down with you. I am absolutely down with you. I am very happy to see these people go down. Do I want to see people lose their jobs? No, not necessarily. But, we don't need them anymore. We don't. We're all big people. We'll find out the news for ourselves. Are we going to always get it right? No, not necessarily, but that's okay. Why, and I'm sorry I'm ranting here a little bit, but forgive me. Why is it that the media feels they must be the ones who give out the information? Well, that's their job. Who gave them the job? All I want is a guy to stand there and tell me what the heck is going on. That's it. Just tell me what happened. I don't want you to tell me about what you think happened. Just tell me the facts. Tell me what happened. That's what reporting used to be. Not anymore. As my good friend Robert here says, we got a bunch of propaganda peddlers. So CNN's is going to go through some downsizing, and MSNBC might get sold off. Can't say as I'm very sad about that. All right. Let me start bringing the train into the station. And this story is, I don't know if you call it a palate cleanser. I don't know what you call this one, but I picked this one for the Nightcap. And this one is kind of local to me. Okay. As you all know, West Virginia has elected a new United States Senator. Senator-elect Jim Justice. Okay. And Jim Justice is known for a number of different things, some good, some bad. But one thing he is known for is the fact that he has a pet bulldog, which he has nicknamed Baby Dog. Well, upon his now election to the United States Senate, many people wondered whether or not Baby Dog would be strolling around the Capitol or strolling onto the Senate floor with the owner, Mr. Justice. What turns out, ladies and gentlemen, that is not going to be allowed to happen. From Axios, Baby Dog is banned. Jim Justice Bulldog cannot visit the Senate floor. Article by Steph Knight and Dave Lawler. We have the following. Incoming Senator Jim Justice, Republican of West Virginia, was told he could not bring his bulldog, Baby Dog, onto the Senate floor on Tuesday during orientation, 3 sources in the room tell Axios. Baby Dog is a political celebrity, often accompanying Justice to events and famously taking the stage at the RNC, but she apparently won't be at his side during legislative sessions in the Senate. Justice was told by Senate floor staff that only service dogs are allowed onto the floor of the Senate, and that even in that case, there would need to be an analysis of potential allergies. Justice, the current West Virginia governor, is in Washington for orientation alongside his fellow incoming senators. He asked Tuesday if Baby Dog could join him on the Senate floor and was told no by staff, the sources said. Senator-elect Bernie Moreno, Republican of Ohio, was first to raise the question in jest, sources said. A person for Justice did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Many dogs are regulars on the Hill, lounging in their owners' offices and even wandering the halls with members. The restrictions seem to apply specifically to the Senate floor where votes take place. This isn't the only rule around access to the Senate floor to draw scrutiny. Senators voted last year to force members to wear a suit and tie when voting or presiding in the Senate after John Fetterman, Democrat of Pennsylvania, started arriving at work in shorts. Well, so there you go. See, I got a problem with this. I have a serious problem with it. Okay? Look, you have one whole side of the room filled full of jackasses. If you can have half of the Senate chamber filled with jackasses, why can't you have one dog on the Senate floor? I ask you. And with that, exactly, justice for baby dog. If we're going to have justice for Peanut and we're going to have justice for everybody else, we're having justice for baby dog. That's right. If General Patton had made it back to the States and run for office, dollars to donuts, he would have had his dog Willie walking along around Washington, D.C. But I'd say you're right. I say you're right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but no justice for Biden's German Shepherd. Forget it. Out of the question. All right. Y'all have tolerated me long enough. Let's bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight for chatting on the porch. Genuinely do appreciate it. From my perspective, I don't feel it's one of my best live streams, but y'all tolerated me long enough. And hopefully I brought you guys some entertainment and some fun and some conversation this evening. So it's always appreciated when you guys stop by. Please hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, share the link around to your friends. I had quite a few people here tonight. Some of them are brand new, and I was always glad to see that happen. And you guys are totally awesome. We will be back soon. I got to talk to Tracy off air about tomorrow night, but I will reach out to her. And yes, Christian, I will be reaching out to you, brother, because these cabinet picks, whoo, would love to talk to you about it. But anyway, you guys have an absolutely great night. I will post again when we are going to get together. Anyway, love you guys very much. You guys have a great night. And as always, remember, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you soon.